My name is Archith Seshadri. Favorite ragam?
Torino.
Why did Kattappa kill Bahubali? That's a question everybody's been wondering for the last 2 years. The time is now a little bit past 7 o'clock here in New Delhi, and that means it is 8:30 p.m. Eastern and, of course, 5:30 p.m. Pacific in Los Angeles. This is the Saidat Pet Bridge in Chennai, full of traffic on a busy afternoon with buses, auto rickshaws, and motorbikes. Now, when the rains came down in December, a lot of the water here rose up and flooded the bridge, making it impossible for traffic to get across. La La Land bagging the first award for the night. The film bags the award for the best production design. Again, La La Land grabbing that award. Its first one for the night after 14 nominations. So quick reaction on that to our guest. Asim, we'll start with you. You were notably excited there.
One of the best things about La La Land was the production design.
Oscars, or one of those where there's going to be entertainment, but perhaps entertainment of a different kind. Forget about the movies itself. Just a lot of hot button issues out there for people to sort of weigh in on and talk about. The subcontinent India is the only country that is apparently unhappiest amongst its neighbors. As we mentioned, India at 122, while Pakistan targeted a lot of violence and a lot of protests. In fact, is higher at number 80. Bangladesh is at 110, Sri Lanka at 120. Pakistan Bureau Chief Taha Siddiqui standing by in Islamabad. Taha, do you agree, and to what extent do you agree that Pakistan is more happier than India? Or do you think that these rankings certainly just are reflecting the reality there on the ground?
Well, in the sense that we're seeing, Pakistan has improved from the last year's ranking, and that improvement has a lot to do with the perception that Pakistanis right now have, given the fact that we've seen there's an improvement of law and order situation.
Tonight, we have a special broadcast focusing on smartphones and steps. That's in our world-focused discussion. Now, could this new study by Stanford researchers perhaps help cure obesity? And how accurate is the study? Plus, what's cooking with our popular friend from the South, Sashikala, in a Bengaluru prison? This is Karnataka's chief minister launches a probe into alleged bribery behind bars. We'll get to that story shortly, but first, the story we're focusing on is about obesity and smartphones. Well, Stanford researchers have now found intriguing clues about obesity by simply counting the number of steps that people have taken through this, something that we all have, our smartphones. Well, it tracks the movement, it tracks how, the age, the gender, and it gives a glimpse of which countries are the fittest and which countries are the fattest. When it comes to travel, everyone wants a good deal, but how is it that some people snag the best prices when it comes to flight tickets? Take a look at this. Be flexible on your departure and arrival airports. It could save you, and try to fly a local carrier if you're traveling internationally. You also want to make sure that you compare travel sites. Check Yatra, Make My Trip, Jet Radar, Momondo, Cheapo Air, Skyscanner, just for a few. We'll post all of these on our website, weonews.com. Check the apps. There's an app called Trigger In that will track the flight prices regularly and give you an update. Favorite Western music band of all times?
Queen.
Favorite male singer?
Rafi Saab.
Favorite female singer?
Lataji.
Favorite up-and-coming talent in the music industry in India?
Kaushiki.
Favorite director to work with in films?
Maniratnam.
We're joined by Hollywood television host Asha Leo. She's also a worldwide model, walked the ramps for many designers. Thank you so much, Asha, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, pleasure to have you here on the show. So let's start with your career, such a fascinating career, modeling and then TV host. How did the modeling all start out? We're joined by some of the stars from Begum Jahan, not only those in front of the camera, but those behind. First of all, you need no introduction, a director, a screenwriter, a producer, a legend in Bollywood, Mahesh Bhatt. Mahesh, sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. When did I get this prefix called legend added to me?
You've always had it.
Oh my God. Oh. Okay.
And you've seen her in Parinita, you've seen her in Dirty Picture, you've seen her in Kahani 1, Kahani 2, Pa. And of course, you'll be seeing her in Begum Jahan, the gorgeous Vidya Balan, who certainly needs no introduction. one of my biggest, of course, Bollywood actresses who I admire. Thank you, Vidya, for joining us.
Thank you.
Again.
You're the anchor, you always ask me questions. Let's turn the table this time.
All right.
And let me ask you a couple of questions.
And watch me make a fool of myself because I don't know any of these answers.
Absolutely. I know you haven't watched any of the movies, you haven't watched any of the series. So it would be interesting. So the answers are going to be purely on the basis of your instinct.
All right.
What say? Are you ready?
As ready as I can be. I watched that story, so whatever I know is from that package.
Okay, so it's rapid fire one. You don't have time to think. It's purely on the basis of instinct, right?
All right.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Tell me Darth Vader's real name. Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Kylo Skywalker.
Oh my God, I think it's either A or B. I'm going to say Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, right.
Okay, good. We got one right.
Complete the name. Princess Abria Leia Gracie.
Okay, I do know this one. Princess Leia, I think that was B, played by Carrie Fisher.
No wonder your instinct is very strong.
All right, the Hyperloop concept is boring ahead with Elon Musk's company giving the green signal to dig a 2-mile test tunnel. So what exactly is all of this about? The future of transportation? Well, here's a preview.
We are having too much fun. 2016 is coming to a close, and this is the last breakfast show of the year. So we thought we'd have some fun.
And it almost feels like, December the 31st, but, still a day away. But this is the most fun set I've ever seen. I'm really excited. So stay tuned for the next hour. All the big highlights of all the fun stories and memorable moments. And we're going to take you through all of that, plus a look at behind the scenes, what you don't see on television.
Hi, I'm Sejal Pandey.
And I'm Archith Seshadri.
It's time to make technology a little more fun.
And if you feel like pranking your family, friends, or coworkers, we have perfect pranks for you. All right, tip number 2. Sometimes we forget that we are logged on to Facebook or Gmail, and you remember a little bit later on. But you can still log off through remote control access because it'll show you all the different computers or devices that you are logged into Facebook or Gmail. Next on to tip number 4. We all get excited, perhaps some of us do more than others, when we get new mail. But sometimes we get too much mail, so how do you know which link to click? So make sure that before you click on any link that it is from a verified source, because this is how hackers can get access to your personal information. And that does it again for this episode of Tech It Out. Where does the time go, right?
Full of lights, full of gifts, everything for you to buy this festive season.
At least for some of us. Well, on many key issues, including urban versus rural population, the gender ratio, the child population, as well as age demographics. All right, first up, the urban versus the rural population. Well, that went from 72 to 69% in 2011. The urban population went from 28% all the way up to 31%. So it looks like people are shifting to the bigger cities.
It's been 2 months now since heavy rains flooded the southern Indian city of Chennai.
I've been here in Chennai for 4 years, but I've never seen the city so flooded.
Roads turned into rivers, and thousands were left in the dark.
Since continuous rain, we didn't have electricity at all here, and no water, and we were so much worried how to take care of these children. And if something happens to the children, there is no possibility of taking to the doctor. We were surrounded with water everywhere.
This orphanage near the city's airport is still recovering from mold thanks to all the water buildup.
Because of the heavy rain here, we have a lot of stagnation of water, especially on the terrace. So due to that, lot of leakage in the building, and our surrounding area is filled with water and a lot of mosquito problems. So we are worried about whether the children will get malaria or dengue fever.
Many slum areas were washed away, Saidapet being one of the hardest hit areas.
It was very difficult with the kids. We couldn't go anywhere for about 3 weeks. The water was as high as those buildings. We went to the terrace, and then about 12 families stayed together during the floods.
This is the Saidapet Bridge in Chennai, full of traffic on a busy afternoon with buses, auto rickshaws, and motorbikes. Now, when the rains came down in December,
a lot of the water here rose up and flooded the bridge, making it impossible for traffic to get across. Now, in that process, it also damaged many of the slum homes here. A few months down the road, they're still rebuilding a lot of those homes that were lost.
You couldn't walk here. There was water until my knees, and we had major water issues.
Lots of people lost their livelihood. They lost their, like there's this one farmer who has 12 goats, so he lost 10 of it. And then one lady who is half paralyzed, she lost her house.
During this time, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, and all the religion, people from different religions, they all came together. For the first time, I have seen that Muslims have been lodged in Hindu temples, and they've been taken care of by the Hindu priests. And the Hindus were in the mosques, and Christians were in the Gurudwaras. So people were not bothered about whether you're a Hindu or a Muslim. It was just human to human. You can go now.
Those who had access to electricity used social media to find help and give help.
Social media helped us in a bigger way. We sourced about 5 tons of biryani from Hyderabad to Chennai when there was absolutely no connectivity to Chennai. The airports were closed. We sent out a tweet to Indigo to sort of help us out to fly in. If not for Twitter, if not for people on Facebook, I do not think that we'll be able to source food for 20,000 people.
A city usually famished for water, now back on its feet after one of the worst floods in its history. Archith Seshadri, CNN, Chennai, India.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Archith Seshadri. Thanks so much for watching us. This is WION, World is One News. Today is Wednesday, June the 21st. The time now is 8:30 in the morning in New York, 1:30 in London, 2:30 in Cairo, and 6 p.m. here in New Delhi. Tonight, our special report focuses on nurturing nature, things that we can do to protect planet Earth. Our first story, beautifying our beaches.